Hello fellow Old World inhabitants and welcome to the 9th round of the Old World campaign. This time a 1000 points battle of Demons of Chaos versus the Dwarves. Alright, so for the deployment we're playing flank attack. Over here I got 3 Fiends of Slaanesh, a level 4 Demon Prince with Demonology, 20 Pink Horrors, and on the flank are 5 Flamers. For the Dwarves,
With our army we have a gyrocopter, 2 organ guns, normal cannon, engineer, dwarf warriors, mining bugsman's cart disguised as a mining cart, and 5 thunderers with as expeditionary marksmen.
yes, and in the ground are still 3 miners. Correct?
No, 16.
Well, 16. So, oh, 2 units.
Groups of 8.
2 groups of 8. 2 groups of 8. All right.
The Dawi have the first turn and the Thunderers are going to shoot at the Pink Horse. They inflict 2 wounds on the Pink Horse, and the Pink Horse, they fail their war save, so 2 of them drop.
So the veteran on a 4 up.
Yes.
Yeah, wounding on a 3. Yep.
And then finally the Veteran also manages to shot 1 down. The Engineer, who is hiding behind the organ guns, is going to take 1 shot at the Fiends, but he misses. The Cannon is going to shoot 7 inches in front of the Pink Horse. His first roll, however, is a misfire. But since the Engineer is close by, he's allowed to re-roll, and then he rolls a 10. It doesn't continue, however, since he rolled yet another misfire.
Wounding on a 2.
That's a 1. Symbol is 1.
Aha.
The organ gun is also going to unleash at the Pink Horrors. His first roll is a 4 and then the second one is an 8, so that means 12 shots in total. The organ gun hits on 5s and unfortunately it doesn't hit very often. It only hits twice, but it does wound twice. Then the war save of the Pink Horse, which they make 1 of them. The final organ gun is going to shoot at the Fiends. His first roll is a 2 and the second one is a 10, so also 12 shots. Once again the organ gun is hitting on 5s, but it does wound on 3s since the Fiends of Slaanesh have toughness 4. It deals 3 wounds in total after all the shooting, and the Fiends make 1 of their war saves, which means that 1 Fiend is on 1 wound remaining.
Alright, so we come at the end of the first turn of the Dwarves. The gyrocopter flew over there. The Dwarves marched forward, readying themselves against the demonic hosts. Then some shooting of the cannon and the organ guns killed some Pink Horse over there, dealt 2 wounds on the Fiends, and that's it. So we're going to turn 1 of Demons. In my command phase, the Demon Prince is going to cast Demonic Vigor on the Fiends, where the 8 plus 4 is 12.
The Fiends of Slaanesh are going to try to charge the Dwarves who marched forwards in the previous turn. They need to get a 17, they roll a 3 on their first roll, which is not very high, and then a 5 on their Swiss drive, which is high enough, which gets them at a total of 18, since they are Demons of Slaanesh.
The 5 Flamers are going to shoot at the Thunderers, 5 D3 shots, pretty decent, hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s, no wounds. Demon Prince is going to cast the Summoning on the Buxman card on a 9 up. Alright, that's 8 plus 5, so 13. Fated Dispel of the Dwarves.
Nope.
Ah, no. 2d6 automatic hits, 5, wounding on 5s, 3 wounds, 6 up armor, 3 wounds. Panic test for the Dwarves, because their favorite ale has been destroyed. I think that's okay.
We're getting to close combat. The Fiends of Slaanesh are going first. They first have some attacks with their tongues. They hit only once and they do not wound. Then with their claw attacks they manage to deal 5 hits, and of those 5 hits only 2 wound. The dwarves managed to shrug off 1 of those wounds, so only 1 dwarf dies. Then the Dwarves are going to strike back at the Fiends. They manage to deal 3 hits, but the Fiends have their toughness boosted and they need 6s to wound the Fiends, and they don't deal any wounds. The Fiends lose combat by 1, but they roll a 6, which is all fine. The Dwarves are going to restrain since they don't want to follow up, and they successfully do so.
At the end of turn 1 of Demons, so the Fiends of Slaanesh, they charged the Dwarves, but they lost combat. The Pink Horse and the Demon Prince went a little bit forward. They did some magics and destroyed the Buckman with Ale. The Flamers, they tried to do some shooting but didn't do anything. And that's basically it. So we're going to turn 2 of the Dwarves. The Miners have arrived on the battlefield.
Once again, the Thunderers are going to shoot at the Flamers. He needs 5s to hit, gets 3 hits, and then needs 4s to wound, wounding all of them. The Flamers use their ward save, but only get 1 save. The cannon is going to shoot at the Fiends, 7 inch in front of the Fiends. He rolls a 2, so he needs 5 more, and then he rolls a 6, hitting the Fiend. Needs only a 2 to wound the Fiend, which he easily gets, and then the Fiend tries to save it with the ward save, but fails. One of the organ guns is also shooting at the Fiends, getting a 6, and once again another 6 for the result of 12 shots. Hitting on force this time since it's short range, and also wounding on force, dealing 3 wounds in total. Then the Fiend is going to try to use its ward save, but only saves 1 of the 3 wounds. The other organ gun is also going in the Fiends, getting quite some hits with a 10 and then another 6, so 16 shots. Also hitting on force and wounding on force, but only dealing 3 wounds. However, the Fiends don't make any of the ward saves, which means another Fiend drops. The Engineer is going to try to finish off the last remaining Fiend. He has a special pistol that has explosive shells, so D3 shots, which becomes 3 shots in total. And then he wounds the Fiend twice, and the Fiend fails its ward save, and that's the end of the Fiends.
So the end of Dwarf turn 2. They did a lot of shooting. The Fiends have been destroyed. The Miners came up from the flank together with the helicopter, and they also managed to destroy one of the Flamers. So we're going to turn 2 of Demons.
The Flamers are in position to shoot at the Thunderers. 2 of them are in half range, so they are going to shoot first. They have 3 shots in total. They hit on force. They land 2 hits and they also land 2 wounds. The Dwarves still have a 6+ armor save and he saves 1. The other 2 also get 4 shots, but they hit on 5s and they wound on force. However, the 2 hits do not wound. The Demon Prince is going to cast the Summoning on the Dwarf Miners. He rolls a 7 plus 5 is 13. The Dwarves decide to use their fated Dispel dice, but they fail to dispel the Summoning. Rolling 2 d6 automatic hits, rolls double 4, so 8 automatic hits, needing 4s to wound, rolls 5 6s. The Dwarf Miners still have a 6+ armor save remaining, and they make 1 of those. Then they have to roll a panic test, but that's all fine because Dwarves never run away. Then the Pink Horse are going to use Pink Fire on the other unit of Miners. They roll 8 for their casting value, which is okay. They have D3 plus 3 shots, rolling 6 shots. They deal 2 wounds, and the Dwarves also don't make their armor save, so they have to roll yet another panic test, which is actually failed, and the Dwarf Miners have to fall back in good order.
End of turn 2 of the Demons of Chaos. Not too much happened. The Flamers went over there in the forest on the right. They managed to destroy one of the gunners. And then the Pink Horse combined with the Demon Prince managed to destroy some miners. But that's basically it. So we're going to turn 3 of the Dwarves.
The gyrocopter has flown over the Pink Horrors and is dropping bombs on them. D6 hits, getting 2 hits. And they also wound The pink horrors roll their war save and save one of them. The thunderers once more are going to shoot at the flamers. They need 5 to hit and they missed them all, unfortunately. However, the veteran needs 4s and he rolls a 6, so that's okay. Then he needs a 4 to wound but rolls a 2, so doesn't wound. Then the organ cannon going to shoot again at the pink horrors, rolls an 8 and then a 4 for 12 shots. Hitting on 4s and then wounding on 3s, dealing 3 wounds in total on the pink horrors. Then the pink horrors are going to try to use their war save, and they make 2 of them. Then the other organ gun is also going to shoot at the pink horrors, hitting on 5s but getting quite some hits, and wounding on 2s, not on wounding on 3s, that was my mistake, wounding on 2s, dealing 5 wounds, and then the pink horrors only managed to make 1 of them. Then the cannon is going to shoot 7 inches in front of the pink horrors, rolls a 4 and then needs 3 more and then rolls a high number, definitely goes through the pink horrors, and then the pink horrors are allowed to do their war save, only make 1 of those, so another pink horror dies. Then the engineer with his special pistol, he needs 4s and he rolls only 1 4, so that's 2d3 hits, getting 3 hits, but he rolls 3 2s, so everything misses.
End of turn 3 of the dwarves. They did quite some shooting, managed to destroy a lot of pink horrors, but the flamers are still around. So we're going to turn 3 of demons.
The demon prince is going to cast Demonic figure on himself and the unit of pink horrors, but he rolls 3, so he definitely failed it. Then he casts Demonic vessel, which he does successfully. The dwarves try to dispel it with a fateful dispel, but they fail. Then charges. The pink horrors are going to charge the miners. They roll a 6, so they make it. Then it's the flamers' turn to shoot back at the thunderers, shooting them in the back. Getting not that many hits, but dealing 3 wounds in total. The dwarves, however, still have a 6+ armor save, and he makes 2 of them, so only 1 of the thunderers drop. However, since they did lose a model, they have to make a panic test, which they fail. And then they have to run away and they roll 3 in total, only going 3 inches away. Time for combat. The demon prince is going first against the miners. He has 6 attacks, which 4 of them wound. The miners don't have a powerful enough armor save to save -2, so they perish. The other unit of miners and the dwarf warriors have to roll a panic test, but they both succeed.
D4 met restrain. That's okay. Rally test of the thunderers. 6. Yeah, so they have rallied.
The gyrocopter has positioned itself next to the unit of pink horrors and is going to use its breath attack. First 4 partials, which 1 of them is a hit. Wounding on 4 up, the gyrocopter deals 2 wounds. The pink horrors try to save it, but they fail their ward save. Then the demon prince, who still has his heavy armor but fails it, then uses his ward save, rolls a 6, so is saved. The thunderers are also going to shoot at the pink horrors. First 2 on 4 up. Only 1 hits and it doesn't wound since he rolled 3. Then the other 2 also have 2 shots. They hit once and it also wounds. Then the pink horror has 5 of war save, but it fails. Once again, the cannon is going to shoot at pink horror 7 inches in front. He rolls a 3, so it's still 4 in front of the pink horrors. Then he rolls a 6 and goes through the 2 ranks. He only hits once, but that's enough to deal damage since the pink horror doesn't save it with its ward save. The organ gun is going to shoot at the flamers. How many shots? 6 with the first throw and 6 with the second roll. The organ gun gets quite some hits and deals a significant amount of wounds of 5. The flamers try their ward save, but they fail miserable and they lose 5 wounds. Finally, the last organ gun is also going into the pink horrors. The first roll is a misfire, however with the engineer he is allowed to re-roll the dice, getting 10 shots in total. Because of long range he only hits on 5s, and even with 10 shots he only manages to hit twice. However, he wounds on 2s and he does wound twice. The pink horse use their 5-up war save and make 1 of those.
At the end of turn 4 of the dwarves, they destroyed almost all flamers, only 1 is still remaining. and there are only 4 pink horrors left, so it's looking pretty grim for the Demons of Chaos. Going to turn 4 of Demons.
The Demon Prince is going to start this turn with casting Demonic Vigor, which he successfully does so. The Dwarves decide to not dispel this one. Then he tries to do the same with Demonic Vessel, but he fails the casting. The last Flamer ran back into the forest and is going to shoot at the Thunderers, having D3 shots, getting 3 shots in total. He hits on force because he's in short range and he gets 1 hit. That one also wounds. However, the Thunderers save it by rolling a 6 on their armor save. Going to combat, the Demon Prince is going first with his 5 attacks. He hits on 3s and he wounds on 2s, dealing 3 wounds in total with an AP of -1. The Dwarves save 1 with their 5 up armor save. Then the 4 remaining horrors, they flail at the Dwarves, hitting on 4s and wounding on 5s, only getting 1 wound in. The Dwarves fail their armor save and 1 single Dwarf drops. The 2 remaining Dwarves in the front row are striking back, hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s. However, they miss 1 hit and they also miss that final wound. The Dwarves have to make a break test on -2. They fail it by rolling a 7, which means they have to fall back in good order and they only run back 1 inch.
End of turn 4. We got into combat. At least the Demons, they destroyed 3 Dwarves. And over here, the Flamer did some shooting, but didn't manage to kill anyone. So going to turn 5 of Dwarves.
The Thunderers are taking aim at the last remaining Flamer. They are hitting on 5s because the Flamer is in soft cover, but he manages to hit him twice. He manages to inflict 1 wound, and that 1 wound the Flamer also doesn't save, so he's still remaining with 1 wound. The Organ Gun has decided to finish off the Flamer, rolling a 4 and then a misfire, but he's allowed to reroll that one into a 6, which makes 10 shots. With his 10 shots, he only hits on 6s, he inflicts 1 hit that also wounds, and the Flamer doesn't manage to save it, which means that the Flamer unit has been destroyed. Once again into combat, the Demon Prince is going first, hitting on 3s but missing 3 of his attacks, then wounding on 2s, inflicting 2 wounds. The miners do not make their armor save and 2 of them drop. The miners, now having a lower unit strength than the Demon Prince and the horrors, have to make a fear test, which they easily pass, and then they strike back at the Demon Prince, hitting once but inflicting no wounds. And finally the horrors, they fail miserably, they deal no wounds. The Gyrocopter has charged the flank of the horrors, dealing no damage with its impact hit. He has 2 attacks that hits on 3s and also wounds on 3s. They both hit and they also both wound. The pink horrors, they use their wall save and this time they make them both. Then finally the Dwarves that are in base combat with pink horrors, so not the one in the flank but the one in front of them, they strike at the pink horrors, dealing 3 wounds in total, and the pink horrors do not save them. Break test of the Demons reveals a 4, which is okay, so no extra wounds lost. Turn 5 of the Demons of Chaos. Once again, the Demon Prince is going to cast Demonic Vessel on himself, rolling a 7. The Dwarves are going to use their Fated Dispel, but they didn't roll high enough. The Demon Prince, trying to get as many wounds from this combat as possible, is going to hit the Dwarves in front of him with his attacks, hitting 4 times and wounding 4 times. The Dwarf Warriors still have a 6+ save and they make 2 of them. Then the Demon Prince is going to cast Demonic Familiars also on the Dwarves in front of him, getting the casting result and needing 6s to wound, but rolling none. The last remaining horror is trying to deal some wounds on the Dwarves, but he fails. The miners in the flank are trying to attack the Demon Prince, hitting on force but only getting 1 hit, needing 5 to wounds but do deal no wounds. Then the 3 Dwarf Warriors that are eligible to attack strike all on the pink horror, trying to finish it off, needing a 4 to wound but fails it, so the pink horror is still alive. The Demons of Chaos have to roll a break test but they make it, so everything is okay. The Gyrocopter has flown into the flank of the pink horror, getting 1 impact hit, but it wounds, and pink horror doesn't make it, so it is finally gone. The Demon Prince, trying to get rid of those miners in his flank, is hitting them, dealing 4 wounds, and the miners need 6s to save it, but they don't, which means that this unit has been destroyed. The gyrocopter that has charged now in the flank of the Demon Prince has to make a fear test, but he easily makes it. Then he's striking the Demon Prince, hitting once and also dealing 1 wound. The Demon Prince has his heavy armor, which he fails, and then his 4-up chaos armor war save, which he makes. Then the other Dwarves are going to pummel the Demon Prince, but they only hit once and they do not manage to wound him. The gyrocopter has to make a break test, which he makes, so no problem at all, and then the Dwarves have to do the same, which they easily make, so they just have to give ground. Demon Prince is going to roll a restrain. He rolls a 6 and a 1, which is barely enough to make him stop running behind those Dwarves. Final turn of the game, the Demon Prince is going to cast both his spells, but he fails Demonic Figure. The Prince has charged the Dwarves who gave ground, and he deals 4 wounds in total. The Dwarves need 6s to save, but they fail all of them, so that means that 4 of the Dwarves have fallen to the ground. The Dwarf Warriors strike back at the Demon Prince. They need a 4, which they get, only 1. And they need a 5 to wound, which they don't do, so no wounds.
Flee? No flee. Okay, so then we come at the end of the game, and that's definitely a victory in favor of the Dwarves.
Boudewijn has played very well with the Dwarves and has definitely earned this victory. There's only 1 round remaining, which is the 10th round of this Old World campaign, and then we will reveal the grand winner. So stay tuned till that, and I hope to see you next time in the World of Legends. Until then.